Welcome to Grow and Give, a modern victory garden project from Colorado State University Extension. We're here to help you learn to grow food for yourself, your family, to share with your neighbors and your community. Tomatillos. Tomatillos are relatives of tomatoes, but they grow in a papery cover. They can be green, orange, yellow, or purple, and have a tangy, citrusy taste that lends itself well to salsas and other delicious dishes. Ground cherries also are in this group, and they too grow in a papery husk, but compared to a tomatillo, they're smaller and sweet. These are both warm season crops. Tomatillos grow in a papery husk called a calyx, which protects the developing fruit. Often, people use this husk to tell about the ripeness of the tomatillo inside. As the tomatillo forms and grows inside the husk, it also has a very sticky coating. Planting and growing tomatillos is easy. This is a plant that really wants to produce. Plant your tomatillo like you would a tomato, in full sun. As a warm season crop, it needs soil temperatures above 60 degrees consistently, and the days for the summer have to be nice and warm. It needs well-drained soil. So in Colorado, with heavy clay soils, that means we have to amend our soil with organic matter, because tomatillos are used to more dry conditions, so they don't want to be in a soggy ground. Start your tomatillo seeds indoors about 6 to 8 weeks prior to your last frost date. Then when you plant them into the ground, give them plenty of room. They can often get bigger than tomatoes, so give them at least 2 feet apart when you're planting them, and provide them a support. Whereas some of the cultivars, like the pineapple type of tomatillo, don't need support because they stay dwarf. Mostly the tomatillo can get 2 to 3 feet large, so you do have to give them some kind of a cage. Without this support, the vines will tumble to the ground and the stems themselves root into the soil just like their tomato relatives do. But you should give them a tomato cage. That's a good support, and then that way it keeps the plant and the fruit off of the ground and away from any kind of soil contact sort of pests. These are not a self-fertile plant. In other words, you need 2 tomatillos or more in order to set fruit. If you're having problems with just empty husks and you only have 1 plant, it's because you needed a second one there. There are very few pests that attack tomatillos, so they're pretty easy to grow for a novice gardener. And once established, they aren't using very much water, only about 1 to 2 inches weekly. Fertilize them sparingly. If you give them too much nitrogen, you'll get all plant and no fruit. So give a half-strength fertilizer at planting, and then side dress with fertilizer 4 weeks later, and then again at 8 weeks. These are a very, very prolific producing crop. 1 tomatillo plant can produce between 60 and 200 fruit in a growing season. You can tell when the tomatillos are ready to harvest. They'll fill that husk, and they're going to be firmer than a tomato, so they will feel pretty firm when you're gently squeezing them. When a tomatillo is ripe, the husk bursts open, but not very far. As you can see in this photograph, it's a small crack, and that's the ideal moment of ripeness for the tomatillo fruit. If allowed to over-ripen, the husk will open fully, but then your tomatillo fruit is not quite as useful. The flavor will be off. It's not quite as good as the perfectly ripened ones. Now, tomatillo plants also have a unique characteristic that they often drop their fruit before it's fully ripened. You can go ahead and gather those off of the ground and put them on the counter within their husk, keep the husk on, and allow them to ripen that way. There's nothing wrong with the ground fall ones. For eating a tomatillo, pick the mature fruit, and then you can store it in a paper bag in the refrigerator for up to 3 weeks. The fruit inside the husks are very sticky, so you'll have to wash those off thoroughly to get that sticky coating off before you begin to cook with it. You can harvest and store green tomatillos like you would a green tomato. Just keep them in their husk for ripening on the counter, and they'll ripen up for you in just a couple of weeks. Grow food, give locally, support your community. Contact your local CSU Extension office.